I'm Cameron.
I'm David.
And Nathan's not here because we fired him. He's fired. You're fired, Nathan. You're fired.
No, he's gone. But what is the film this week?
It's the David Lynch classic, Return of the Jedi.
No.
It's Blue Velvet.
Released in 1986, nominated for Academy Award for Best Director, Mr. David Lynch.
And look, here's the titular Blue Velvet.
Now, if you're listening to the music, this is one of actually his most popular recurring collaborators, and that's Alberto.
I thought it was Angelo.
Angelo Badalamenti, who would go on to compose the scores for Wild at Heart, Twin Peaks, Mulholland Drive.
Both the show and the movie versions of Twin Peaks.
He's a wonderful composer, and he's unfortunately... And The Straight Story, that's my personal favorite of all the scores he's ever done for a David Lynch film. And he's never been nominated for an Oscar, and that's a damn shame. Or as Cameron refers to him as the overblown golden paperweight.
As the candy-colored clown. Now, a lot of people don't know this completely false fact, but this is based on David Lynch's Return of the Jedi script. This is a completely false fact.
I would have actually liked to have seen this version of Return of the Jedi. Would have been interesting. And I have to admit, I do love how the score is like setting it all up. So,
well, the thing is, I want to bet if David Lynch had directed Return of the Jedi, he would have had the sense to demand in the special editions that Lucas keep Yub-Nub in. Because Yub-Nub is the shit. Hey, did you know that whoever did this song had the titular line in Blue Velvet?
Oh, he just did it.
Yeah, it's a scene where Dennis Hopper's teaching Kyle MacLachlan how to drive, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm just so tired of all this Blue Velvet."
And I love it. I love how he's setting up the images of like small town Americana, which is the white picket fence, the roses, the red, the yellow tulips, I believe. Yeah, the fireman coming by, the kids crossing, that sort of thing. Like he is setting it up because one David Lynch is like how brilliant he is as an artist is how he does set things up. In our expectations when it comes to the world itself. He does have a really good eye at that.
And this is just something that reoccurs in this thing. Like, oh, isn't this so great and wonderful on the surface?
Yeah, but
there's the first thing, like, oh, but they're watching a gun.
Yeah. And the other thing is, if I remember, I can't recall the name of it, but I think the same man who did like the sound mixing creations designs for Raging Bull also worked on this film too. So you have these wonderful sounds.
Pressure building. Pressure building.
And there we go.
That's supposed to be a stroke, right? Not a heart attack?
I believe so. And then of course you have this little moment with it, because it's like, I mean, it is sort of a funny moment. It is sad, but it's also kind of funny because that is what a dog would do.
Which is again another Lynch hallmark.
And then this is what he's getting at, the idea of everything beautiful, wonderful, but as Cameron pointed out, everything is disgustingly disturbing underneath the surface. That this is the dark underground that is, as we're about to see here, these creepy crawlies and just, tearing at each other. I mean, you can't really make out what exactly that they're doing, which is how gross and disgusting it is.
They're just doing bug shit. Just being bugs. Just being cuddle bugs.
Yeah.
Everyone loves a log. This is the second time that he had worked with Kyle MacLachlan, right after Dune.
That is correct, and there's also we're going to see Dean Stockwell and Brad Dourif, who was also this is the second time that he worked with both actors too. And actually, the thing is, now Dune is a pretty controversial film, I think, in his filmography. I mean, it is a film that a lot of people do hate. I actually say of all the films that David Lynch has made, Dune is the most confusing to me. That they're just
because he compromised, even that he admits he compromised too much.
Well, I mean, it's just I sit there and go, I have no idea what's going on, because the other films might have like a very bizarre narrative to them, but at least I go with the flow. I can understand what's going on mood-wise. With Dune, it's all over the map. But anyways, he made a deal with Dino De Laurentiis. You go make Dune, but then whatever film you want to make next, you can go and do it. And David Lynch wanted to make this movie. So for those who think, like Dune sucks, Dune's a terrible film, if it wasn't for Dune, we wouldn't have Blue Velvet. And I remember that some people would talk about how this film placates to laughs and what have you. Oh, ha ha ha! This laugh at
No more
the
than
dog and
no
what
more
have
than
you.
he usually does.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Except in Eraserhead.
yeah. But I mean, in this scene in particular, it's like, I mean, just the noise of it, just how he looks. I mean, just how uncomfortable you feel. I mean, just you feel for him, you feel for McLaughlin. I mean,
And you don't need words.
yeah, you don't.
Dad, I miss you. I'm sorry.
Don't need it.
Well, son.
You don't need it. I mean, that's why I've always, for me, when it
And-
comes to films, I always prefer showing, not telling, or let sounds or what have you.
Especially when it comes to
take
butt
over.
shots.
Especially when it comes to, and we're gonna get some butt shots in this film.
From this guy.
Yeah.
And this is a scene. And then this is a scene where once you go over the same spot twice, you find something new. Where's my fucking contact? Would leave a perfectly good sugar here.
What if you got James Cameron to help out with those ant acting? Dun, dun.
Only David Lynch could actually provide him with unobtainium. What the hell are you talking about? What the fuck's unobtainium?
Now hold on, angry David Lynch. We haven't properly introduced you yet.
Angry David Lynch, go fuck off.
That wasn't very kind, angry David Lynch. Now tell me, angry David Lynch, why an ear? Why not any other body part?
You want to see a dick in this?
Well, we do see his.
Wait, we do? I thought we just saw his butt.
No, we see his wiener. We're gonna get that. Yeah, we're gonna get to see our our second film with a dick shot.
Do you know that Detective Williams still working here?
Yes, he's up in room 221. Route the stairs through that.
Now, we're huge fans of Twin Peaks. How much of an influence would you say, Cameron, it has Blue Velvet had on Twin Peaks?
I think you can kind of see Blue Velvet as a proto-Twin Peaks in a way.
I mean, it is one.
And
of
we're
those
still
where
on the
you-
verge of seeing if Twin Peaks is even going to come back now. And that
Oh,
whole
yeah.
that whole situation is pissing me off. And it's not just at Showtime.
Yeah,
It's not just at
Oh, you're
Showtime.
mad at David Lynch too?
Okay, here's the thing. 6 months ago, when this all happened, and this is, right now where this is being recorded, we don't know. It's 6 months since they made the announcement.
I hope.
Frost and Lynch Mark Frost and David Lynch, the creators of Twin Peaks, were the first places I saw anything of this being announced. Those two announced it first.
Yeah.
Then Showtime.
Yeah.
Then they all three made announcements around the same time. They
Yeah.
all posted the links to the trailer.
And
They all
Comic
announced Comic Blackmore was coming back. And only now we're finding out there's problems. I'm sorry, but unless you're for sure, not a single one of those parties should have said a damn thing. Not a single one of them. Lynch and Frost are just as guilty, if not everything was signed, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think it is like a damn shame because I think David Lynch is one of our the best artists in film today. Even if it's a film that I don't particularly care for, I'm glad that he went and made it. I want him to make more films as opposed to less.
And I'm not saying I don't want him. I definitely want him.
Or television shows, just make anything.
Yeah, I definitely want him back on Twin Peaks, but I also don't. I don't think anybody's innocent in all this.
Do you think I have a question for you. Because the last time that David Lynch made a foray into television, it was Mulholland Drive. Do you think...
There was another one, though.
Was there another one?
Yeah,
Between
Mulholland
Drive and...
Yeah, there was a TV sitcom he and Mark Frost did.
Is it Rabbits?
No, it's not Rabbits. It was about a washed-up comedian who has his once last shot at stardom on a TV show.
Really?
And this woman takes all his thunder, essentially. Oh, there's another David Lynch player. She's in Twin Peaks and a bunch of other things. That old lady in the left. And Miguel Ferrer. That's how you pronounce his last name? Miguel Ferrer?
Yeah, Miguel Ferrer, yeah.
Yeah, he's on the sitcom, and the guy who was...
And this was in the aughts, right? This was between Mulholland Drive and the Twin Peaks revival?
Yeah, it wasn't even... It was, right around the time, either right around the second season of Twin Peaks, or... maybe even started in the first, that this sitcom was in development. It actually was on air. God, I can't. The names are on the tip of my tongue. It might actually be on air.
But anyways, what I'm getting at is that do you think, I have a good conspiracy theory, do you think it'd be one of those where, because I remember Ebert talked about this too, where when Ebert said when he made Mulholland Drive, David Lynch probably knew that he was never going to get Mulholland Drive to be an actual television show, so he made it as incomprehensible as possible so that he could let go and then he could make it into a film and make a masterpiece. Do you think what's going to happen is kind of the same thing of he's going to take Twin Peaks, the ideas for Twin Peaks, and make an original film?
If he's doing that, then I would hope you let Mark Frost in on that, because they've already written all 9 scripts for the season. So if he didn't let Mark Frost in, that's kind of
reminiscent of Eraserhead.
Yeah.
Of the moving in, the sound. It kind of does remind you of like the opening of Eraserhead.
But I also don't know if Mulholland Drive, the conspiracy theory, is necessarily
true or not.
True, just because it was meant to be a spin-off of Twin Peaks.
Really? Mulholland Drive
It was going to star Audrey Horne, Sherilyn Finn's character. At least that's the story that Sherilyn Finn tells. And I tend to believe her because I can see a lot of that being very Audrey Horne-like.
Uh-oh, the dog doesn't like that.
One day when it's all sorted out, I'll let you know the details. Right now, though, I can't.
One thing, though, that you can really tell that this doesn't have, the Twin Peaks has, is a lot of black coffee and a lot of cherry pie.
He has some damn good coffee here in Twin Peaks. But he doesn't like it.
Must be great.
Jeez.
It's horrible, too.
No, you're just adding the commentary that Nathan's not here to give.
Darn it, Nathan. Well, good luck to Nathan. He is currently trying to get a living as an actor. An actor of the silver screen. Who knows? He might act alongside Kyle MacLachlan one of these days.
He'll be Dale Cooper Jr.
Actually, the one thing, speaking of Kyle MacLachlan, because I've always liked him as an actor, because I, when saw 50 Shades of Grey, could be a potential future episode.
Wait, he's in 50 Shades of Grey?
No, he isn't. But the actor whose name, I think his name's
Jamie Dorner.
Yeah. Forget, it escapes my mind. If this was made, if 50 Shades of Grey was like in the 90s, he would have been a perfect Christian Grey.
How badly do you think Showgirls derailed his career?
I don't know, but ladies and gentlemen, great introduction, Laura Dern.
She's getting that Wrath of Khan introduction.
This is the beginning of what would be a great collaborative relationship between her and David Lynch. There's this.
There's Wild at Heart, and what else is there?
Inland Empire, which she is phenomenal in that movie. You might go, what the hell is going on in this film? But she is, so very good.
Yeah.
And she was young when she did this movie. She was,
like what, 18?
Around that time, yeah. And of course, Laura Dern is the daughter of Academy Award nominated actor Velociraptor Bruce Dern, who does have a face like a Velociraptor. It's a very good point. And also Diane Ladd, who's also an Oscar nominee, who got nominated also for Wild at Heart.
I don't know much but bits and pieces.
And they both actually played Velociraptors in Jurassic Park.
My room is right above my father's office, so.
Above your father's office.
Now, the one thing is what makes this film very effective to me, at least, is that I grew up in the Midwest. It's one of those where just exactly how David Lynch does film it. That is filmed in such a way where I do believe in the area and such. That it does seem very believable, and how like the trees look and how like the little signs are and
this is all CG. This is all CG.
Yep. Hey, dog, it's okay.
Oh, yeah? Not my dad's kids.
Yeah.
See, Kyle MacLachlan and Laura Dern aren't really there. They're all done in motion capture. David Lynch was out of his time. Now, even when David Lynch does show like the dirty underbelly of small town Americana, it always seems like he's a lot harsher to urban life, if that makes sense. Like, Eraserhead's all about, Philadelphia being this really dark place, essentially. Well, it's one of the many things there. The other thing is going on is, the whole fear of fatherhood and all that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But, like, whenever he really does anything with the city's portrayed as even uglier than the underbelly of a small town. Or at least that's how I feel.
Right. And it is true that It's like every place you go, there is indeed a Lincoln Street. Just like how every state has a Springfield. That's how it works.
And they're all Springfield's on the border of Nevada, California, New York, and Oregon.
Yeah, exactly.
Are they talking about Gene Simmons now?
Oh,
I don't know.
best story in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Oh God, is this the walk?
Yeah.
The walk's coming up.
You're a chicken walk?
Oh God.
And this is one of those ones where you legitimately don't know if it's improv or something Lynch had suggested him to do. Because, honestly, it could go either way because of Lynch's fondness of mistakes and going with them.
Yeah.
Or not, and I'm assuming that would also include improv.
Oh, yeah.
Because we all know how the whole thing on Twin Peaks with Bob got started. It was an accident.
Yeah, well, explain what happened with Bob.
The guy who played the character of Bob in Twin Peaks, I'm not going to say who Bob is at all, just in case anybody here is curious about Twin Peaks and who Bob is. But the way it happened was they were shooting a scene in a bedroom, and the guy was a set dresser, and he kind of got himself trapped in there before the shooting started. And he just kind of hid somewhere, and Lynch saw that and went, "That's really good. I want to put you in something." And then later on, they're shooting another scene where a woman's having some kind of vision. And David gets the take he wants, the perfect one from Grace Zabriskie, or that's the name of...
Oh, Zabriskie.
Zabriskie, that's another David Lynch player.
Yeah, Wadded Heart in Inland Empire.
And he gets the take he really likes from her, but then somebody points out, David, the guy's name was, I believe, Silva? Robert Silva, I think, but I know his last name was Silva, the guy who played Bob.
Oh yeah, was he in Silva? Wasn't he in Dick Tracy? And wasn't he also the voice of Bane in the anime series?
I don't know, because he died a while ago.
Oh, maybe not.
But anyway, that guy's
he's dead.
But that guy was caught in a mirror reflection of Grace Zabiskie's reaction. And that was the best take. And then David saw him in the reflection and went, "I got it. It's him. He has to be in the show." And that's how the character of Bob essentially got created. Oh, cherry pie!
I don't think that's cherry pie. I think is that a BLT?
In my mind, it's always cherry pie.
There are opportunities in life.
Or just the Coke as well. There's the two little Cokes.
And they all have their own color palettes, too.
Yeah.
It's necessary to take a risk.
Laura Dern's pink, hi.
And he's black. That he's like separate from everyone else because he's the one who's going to go out there and venture into the dark world.
Sneak into
The underworld.
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
You know that but they talk about, Laura Dern being his muse, but McLaughlin as well. I mean, just because if you take a picture of Lynch and look at them both, you kind of think to yourself, McLaughlin is a more handsome David Lynch. I guess you can say the same thing like Johnny Depp and Tim Burton, that Johnny Depp is a more handsome version of Tim Burton. It's like I guess that's how the collaboration works, where it's like they see themselves in their actors and then they go and portray it as such.
Now I want you to imagine David Lynch's A Nightmare Before Christmas.
How are you going to do that?
Right out in the car, I have to have some
I think it'd just be a 90-minute "This is Halloween" sequence and that's it.
At the spray apartment. After a few minutes, you knock on the door, drawing their attention away.
David Lynch's Batman.
Just David Lynch's anything, I would see.
You will be at Jehovah's Witness.
Oh God, what was it? The Simpsons episode where Homer's watching Twin Peaks
And it's the giant dancing with a horse.
Unicorn, right?
No, yeah, it's either a unicorn or a horse.
And there's like a
traffic light.
Yeah, the tree,
And
right?
like, this is brilliant. I have no idea what's going on.
It's too weird.
Because that's the weird thing when it comes to David Lynch, and there's somebody else we both know who saw two David Lynch films, and especially Razor, and he's like, "This is the worst film I've ever seen. This film is terrible." And well,
Give me a hint so we don't have to.
Well, guys, you should know who said that. And
You know, that sounds like a huge pile of dog shit.
yeah, but he said that. I just think to myself, well, first of all, it's very reactionary, and I just don't really care when you're reviewing that sort of thing. Right off the bat, you should
Or
actually take
reacting
time.
to it.
Yeah, but the thing is, when it comes to David Lynch film, how do you solve David Lynch's films? And this is how you solve them. You don't go in expecting
Everything.
to solve a puzzle. What you do is you go in, and this is what David Lynch has said. He's not interested in making cohesive storylines and stuff like that. He's more interested in creating a mood. How do you feel while watching the film? Are you scared? Are you laughing? Do you feel terrified? Do you feel sympathetic? Do you feel passion? Are you horrified? Are you everything combined? That's what he wants to do. So when you go and see Mulholland Drive and those images, and in one hand you do want to kind of figure out, well, what's going on here, but you're experiencing them and you kind of feel at times distressed. You sometimes feel like you really believe in it. You feel sympathetic. You feel sadness, longing. There's humor. There's all that. That's what you want. And if anything, that's where it comes to all movies. I feel that they have to create like a mood first. Because for me, I know that we all want cohesive storylines and all of that, but I do consider with film that you can make it into art. You can make it very abstract, and as long as it creates a mood, something worthwhile. And this does create a wonderful mood, because there's some wonderful, great lines in it, but if there's nothing to it in the images, it's just bullshit. Total fucking bullshit.
Now, what David Lynch movies did this person review or react to?
Eraserhead and Dune, and that's it. That's all I know of.
I'm not surprised he felt that way about Dune at all.
He,
Not at all.
he might like this one, though.
No, he wouldn't.
He would, just Dennis
No.
Hopper. Dennis Hopper.
I'll tell you why I wouldn't like it, because he would have so many people going, "Oh, you got to see Blue Velvet; it's great." That's exactly why.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's a good point.
The one thing he is, and so everyone recommends the movie, is fucking contrarian.
But other thing I was just thinking of when it comes to this movie, and that is, David Lynch really has a thing against apartments.
Oh yeah. I wonder if that goes all the way back to when he lived in Philly.
Probably, yeah, because that's the thing about Eraserhead. It took him 4 years to make 3-4 years to make Eraserhead,
Yeah,
and in that,
but it didn't take him 12 years to make.
yeah, but still made him a while. And it's one of those where you do get this feeling that he really freaking hated living in Philadelphia. I don't know. They clean things up. Oh, and I wonder who this beautiful lady is, Cameron.
Oh, that's also Colin McLaughlin.
Oh, it's everybody. No, that is Isabella Rossellini, the daughter of Ingrid Bergman and Roberto Rossellini. Two very important icons. One, Academy Award-winning actress, star of Casablanca. The other, one of the big figureheads in Italian neorealism. And here she is, and I think coming off her marriage with Martin Scorsese, getting it with David Lynch. Actually, this was the film that they made, and then they got into a relationship. So
Was she? I can't remember. Was she in anything else he did?
yes, you Wild at Heart.
I don't remember it well.
It's a very small role, but she's in Wild at Heart.
Of course, every role is small when your star is Nicolas Cage.
Oh, that's true. Nicolas Cage doing Elvis.
I wish Criterion would somehow get the rights to that. Right now, the rights to Wild at Heart are with this kind of, I'm going to say, they're shitty DVD Blu-ray distribution company called Twilight Time.
Oh no, they're not shitty.
I think they're shitty
How so?
because they overcharge and what they release is essentially bare bones.
Well, it's one.
That
It's
pisses me off.
well, it's one of those where what they do. Twilight is they make a deal with companies like Fox, MGM, all those guys. When it comes to titles that they want to release on Blu-ray, and they do put effort into like the quality of the image and the set and the sound. But the thing is that they only put out whatever extras that they are available. If there are no extras, they don't
Then
put it out.
and they overcharge limited.
Oh, I know,
limited
I know.
bullshit runs.
Yeah.
I can't stand Twilight Time as a company. If I'm going to watch like a special souped up Blu-ray or DVD, then there are two companies I'll go to, and two companies I will always hope to get the rights over anything else: Criterion and Scream Factory or Shout
Yeah.
Factory. Twilight Time can suck a dick.
Twilight Time, I think that will happen is Criterion will get Wild at Heart because they've got David Lynch in there now with Eraser. What I want them to do is, since Wild at Heart is on Blu-ray with Twilight Time, I know, but I kind of want them to get to Elephant Man and Mulholland Drive to get those out on Blu-ray because they're.
I think they're working on it.
I hope so
Because I know Eraser is interesting. I've heard just the first of the Lynch films they're going to do.
Good, bring them on.
And I think the only one I would not get just because I already have it and I don't see how Criterion could even do a better version of it is Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. Because I got in the Twin Peaks box set and it came with all 90 minutes of deleted footage from the movie.
Wow.
That Lynch, and the reason it's important is because Lynch refused to ever release it unless it was scored, edited, and cleaned up properly.
He got his way.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing we have to mention when it comes to David Lynch. He himself, eagle. I love how Mel Brooks described him. Mel Brooks worked with him on The Elephant Man. He said it's Jimmy Stewart from Mars. He was an Eagle Scout. He was extremely polite, nice man. I mean, I've met David Lynch, and he's extremely, extremely nice man. And
David Lynch stole my lunch money once. He went, "Get over here, you dumb little fat ass," and beat the shit out of me. And then I said, "But I was going to get cherry pie." That's not going to save you. What, you're going to cry to mama?
I had to tell my Lynch thing because my mother's maiden name is Lynch, so I am David Lynch. And so what happened was when I was like, Mr. It was at Cinevegas, and he's smoking a cigarette, and I go, "Mr. Lynch?" And he turns around and he goes, "Yes." And I go, "Hi, I want to say I'm a real big fan of yours, and with my maiden name, my name's David Lynch too." And he goes, "Well, it's nice to meet a fellow traveler."
And then he beat you up and took your pass. "Don't ever come say you're my name again. Four eyes." Then he snapped his fingers and Carl McLaughlin came up and beat the shit out of him.
Oh my god. It's
Laura Dern really looks like the all-American girl here.
She does, and
even though she kind of still doesn't look in Wild at Heart, it's also completely different too.
yeah, and it's also very vamped up, sexy, all that. And oh god, I'm just thinking about it. This film's gonna be 30 next year.
And even though you can tell it's clearly meant to take place in the now,
Yeah,
it has that timeless kind of thing where it can take place anywhere.
Exactly.
Again, kind of like Twin Peaks. This bar reminds me of God, what is it? Is it the bunkhouse of Twin Peaks?
I believe so. Oh,
Heineken, fuck that shit. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
you have no idea how many times when I was a kid, my dad would just mention Heineken. He would say it just like Heineken. He wouldn't say the rest because we were kids. He didn't want to swear in front of the kids. That happened later on in life, but we would just go, "What is he talking about? Why does he have anything against Heineken?"
This bar is exactly like the bar at Twin Peaks. They don't fucking card anyone.
And who's that on the piano?
I honestly can't see it.
That's our composer. That's
Angela.
Angela Badalamenti. And I remember when Isabella Rossellini got the script, and they're like, "Okay, we're about to do this," and she's like, "David, I can't sing. Why are you having me sing?" And it's sort of like, no, that's beyond the point. It isn't just that. It's like, you are the star of the small town. And you're all about performing, not necessarily how good your voice is.
Yeah, which is honestly kind of the way, I guess, most, rock stuff or music is.
Yeah.
It's how well you perform. Although now performance and neither performance or talent really matters now, technically. I know, I'm angry about it too.
Nathan, come back! Her voice isn't that bad.
It's very deep, so I wonder if that was her concern. She has a very, very deep singing voice.
Well, what was the one thing that when David Lynch met her that I think he said something along the lines like, "Wow, you could be Ingrid Bergman's daughter," and then somebody turned to him and was like, "She is Ingrid Bergman's daughter, you fool."
What you call me? What the fuck did you say to David fucking Lynch? What would you say her color palette is?
Of hers? Blue.
With a lot of reds, though.
Blue and reds, yeah. Well, I mean, she is definitely associated with blue, obviously, because of the song, and she wears that blue. and all that.
And,
There's the blue.
And obviously Frank Booth's colors, when you see them, they're polka dot swirl.
They're not that ugly, dog. Oh, and the other thing I want to mention is just how beautiful the cinematography is, and the lighting, and the
And that
framing.
cinematographer's name is?
Frederick Elms, who actually worked with David Lynch on Eraserhead from there, and did a bunch of other movies as well. That he also did cinematography on a couple of Ang Lee films, like actually Hulk was one of the ones he did. He's a brilliant underrated cinematographer who also sadly isn't nominated for an Oscar. I think that's going to be kind of like a recurring theme, unfortunately, that a lot of David Lynch collaborators haven't been nominated for the overweight golden paperweights, as you would say, but deserve them at least, because forget a win, a nomination's good enough, I suppose.
Because if you're nominated, you won already.
Well, you kind of did, because when you die, they say Oscar nominated. They never take that away from you.
Can I call you?
Except me, I'll take it away.
Okay, yeah, call. I'll be sneaking out.
He's so dreamy.
God, it's like, because I'm so used to watching him nowadays after watching shows like Desperate Housewives.
He's on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I went
now.
home
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a super villain.
Oh dear. And How I Met Your Mother, and just how he looks now. And I'm watching it with my wife. She's a huge fan of it. And when I tell her, oh, it's the captain. And she's like, or Showgirls. That's hysterical when you watch that movie.
It's for me to know and you to find out.
But what works about it is that there is something dangerous about him, but there is this innocence in him that he does make.
He's an innocent kid he's an innocent kid that wants to be dangerous.
Yeah, that's why he wears all black and all that. That's what he is. But it does go into that whole one of the themes of it. I feel, and that is this idea of, like, we want the world to be perfect and everything is fine and dandy, but we ourselves
dandy like sour candy.
We do have our own little dark secrets, or in this case, like sexual, preferences, perversions.
And Gene Stockwell.
He really does despise apartments. That there's every time you see an apartment, like the awful like moaning sound, actually kind of similar to what he's making right now.
Yeah, that's the movie, not my dog. Yeah, because you can even see the hate for apartments. Yeah, I think again in Twin Peaks.
I don't want to say that we're saying this in my apartment, and I do have to admit, this apartment is
It's nicer than mine.
okay. Why are you saying your apartment's evil?
Yeah.
Oh shoot. The one thing I also remember, this one thing that happened. I'm staring at you, dog.
Oh my god, could you guys hear that?
That one of the things that they were watching David Lynch do was when it came to his apartment, how he would make these little dust bunnies and he would put them in very specific places all around the apartment, like under the heater, over in the corner, that he would do that. And you would rustle up the carpet and all that. And it's something that we don't really pay attention to per se.
But he knows it's there.
Yeah, and it helps.
And it makes the painting complete.
Exactly. Because when David Lynch got started, he was a painter. He was a painter, exactly. And he does fit into... I remember when because you were in the 80s class with me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because one of the things that Mark May did talk about, who was a wonderful professor, Mark May, we're giving you a shout out. Mark May, if you ever have a film professor, Mark May, he's a brilliant teacher, the best. Mark, we love you. We want to see you again. Come back to Vegas.
Even if he does like Scarface.
I like Scarface too. I like both Oh shit. Well, anyway.
No, I think that I like the Paul Mooney Scarface.
Okay, there we go. But we were talking about how it's like in the 80s, you had these three filmmakers that really came into prominence. That you had Tim Burton, you had Terry Gilliam, and you all had David Lynch, and they all are united. Well,
can you imagine?
Because the ones were artists, cartoonists, painters.
Can you imagine an anthology movie where each segment was directed by Burton, Lynch, and Gilliam?
I'm sold. I want that movie. Oh, kind of similar to New York Stories, that was a film that had three little short films directed by Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola, and Woody Allen. I don't know why Coppola himself would have been. I guess Spike Lee wasn't big enough, because now I would have put Lee instead of Coppola, but
You know what I would have liked to see at some point? Of course, now it's probably way too late. A horror anthology with Craven, Carpenter, and Barker each directing a segment.
That'd be good. Or Hooper, if Barker couldn't do it.
Yeah, or then do a sequel with Hooper, Romero, and Joe Dante.
Could Cronenberg join?
No Cronenberg. He's not allowed. Unless you know what. I would really like to see David Cronenberg direct a
or just
Jason movie.
Oh, and if I remember another thing that she did talk about this, her wig that she wore. Just talking about
That's a wig?
Yeah. Well, her thing was that she was afraid like how fake it was, that the audience wouldn't get it.
Dude, it's the 80s.
But here's what Lynch did, because you'll see this, the same scene here. She removes the wig.
Yeah.
And she shows that she does have short hair. And it's one of those, and it actually does help where it just goes to show you how hurt she really is.
Well, not only that,
how naked she is when she removes it.
but also duality.
Yeah.
How it's not, how when the glamour's gone.
You mean literally? Frank, what's the matter with him?
And I love that little moment he did there, because it's sort of like you just want to burst in the door and be like, oh, save him!
Mommy loves you.
Well, on that subject, you know that Con McLaughlin is one of the many actors to have done the voice of Superman.
Really?
In the animated version of The New Frontier, he's the voice of Superman.
It's a very good choice. Could have been
And
Superman.
also in that same animated movie, Lucy Lawless is Wonder Woman.
God, I just love the look that she gave there, though, right? This is sort of like, on one hand, she's repulsed by someone like Frank, but as we're going to find out, she actually is turned on by certain things that Frank does. And it's just one of those where you just watch it and you just go, oh my god. As Gene Siskel pointed out, it is perfect. Where you're just like, oh jeez, what are we've gotten in over our heads here.
See, this is the weird thing when you told me that Siskel loved it and Ebert hated it.
Yeah, but there's the removal of the wig.
What gets me in that is there are movies that Ebert has given the thumbs up to I find way more disturbing than this.
Example.
I'm pretty sure he was one of the people that enjoyed the movie Sleepers. And that movie fucks me up really bad.
I think he might have given it 3 stars or 2.5. I can't recall.
But that technically translates into a thumbs
There's her butt
up.
shot.
And that technically translates into a thumbs up. And for me, Sleepers is way more fucked up than this.
Oh yeah. Well, I think it's also just like for him the presentation of the product.
Well, even then, like, Sleepers disturbs me way more because of the presentation. Because Sleepers is pretty graphic in how it shows kids getting raped.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking in terms of just how the effect of the images are on Ebert. It's like, I mean, that's.
Wait, was he given free popcorn at the show? Because if not, then that explains it.
He always gets free popcorn at the shows, darling.
And the robe is of blue velvet.
Yeah. Yeah, you done goofed, Kyle. You done goofed. And also, it's red as well. It's like representation of hell, maybe.
Consequences will never be the same.
Oh, she backtraced him.
Get out! Put your hands up! Put your head! Do it! Get on your knees! Do it!
This is like the most. This was released 87, 88.
86, yeah, in 1986.
This is the most 80s I've ever seen Con McLaughlin.
Oh God.
Give me your water!
I mean, that was like the part that made me go, ugh.
Jeffrey Beaumont. What are you doing in my apartment, Jeffrey Beaumont?
See,
Are you kidding? Who sent you here?
nobody
I've seen you before.
sprayed your apartment.
What'd you spray it
I
with?
didn't do anything except see you.
What did you see tonight?
Underwears.
Naked lady.
See you talking on the phone.
And then
When you hear scores like this, it makes you wish that they got re-released as much as shitty pop music gets re-released.
get undressed.
Because this feels like this essentially feels like a film noir soundtrack.
Get
Oh, yeah.
undressed.
I mean, I remember when AFI did remember the last thing they did, the top 10 top 10s, which was
God.
horseshit. I think this film was in the top 10 mystery, thriller, suspense, witty dilly, bibbly bong.
I'd also consider this a horror movie.
Well, it's all kind of elements of it. I mean, you got your suspense, you got your thriller moments, mystery elements, you have your horror elements, all good stuff. But then I just like this, just how it's like, okay, now we're gonna have him exposed.
Payback's a bitch.
But no, but you know what is about it though? It's sort of like what Frank does to her.
Yeah,
she wants
she's
to,
doing to him.
yeah.
Closer.
And I mean, this is one of those moments where you just go, "Oh, jeez, ran over her head." But I assume this is one of the elements that made Ebert feel really disturbed that he's making Isabella Rossellini do all this stuff, and he thinks that she felt very uncomfortable doing it. But then I go, "Well, she probably doing a good job acting here."
Well, yeah, she's an actress. And also, she could feel uncomfortable, but I'm worried about that, Comic Lachlan's not feeling like roses either in
Yeah.
this scene.
Even then, and you're supposed to feel uncomfortable because you're putting yourself in his, shoes here. It's just like, oh my god, like. And of course, she said the line, "Don't look at me." Don't touch me.
Don't touch me, or I'll kill you.
And then Frank says, "Don't touch me, mommy."
But it sounds like you like talking like that.
Get over there on that couch.
I don't wanna.
Lie down.
Don't know, I mean, it's just like one of those where it's like if you just put it up as to me, that's actually far more scary than just like, oh god, he's gonna stab me. But no, do you want to do this?
Go ahead and close it. Don't say anything, or I'll kill you.
Oh, and this is when we get the dick shot. Dick shot. Dick shot. There you go. We got
Yay!
we have our first named actor, Dick Shot, because I can't recall any of the actors' names in Salo.
There's a cross-eyed guy.
Well, that's not a name. Oh, and here's now this is the introduction of Dennis Hopper, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. And this led to a huge career revival. It was this and then his Oscar-nominated term in Hoosiers. But he himself says he should have been nominated for an Oscar for this.
Shithead, where's my bourbon?
But in a way, do you think this kind of maybe messed up Hopper in a way? Because sort of like people were just casting him in the same kind of role of him being angry or cursing like a madman. That sort of thing.
Maybe, but hey, works work.
Well, it works. It's
Hollywood's always going to cast you as that. You're going to have to trust other, people who are up and coming to cast you as anything different.
Yeah, and he's still a brilliant actor.
And of course, this is a movie where he delivers his famous line of "Baba."
No, you got that wrong.
No.
That's Waterworld where he says that line.
Spread your legs.
No, Waterworld is the one where he says, "Pop quiz, hot shot."
Actually, the spread your legs part here. Now, when David Lynch did this, he was wearing panties at the time. But there's like, oh no, we can see your panties, and she removed them. But Hopper is actually seeing Isabella Rossellini spread open her vagina and everything, and then of course, and then what happens is as they continue seeing, she's still not wearing underwear, and he gets down there, and then she's like, whatever, and he's like, it's okay, honey, I've seen them all.
How many times have I said that?
Yeah, and I want to point out when it came to Cinefagus, I mean, Dennis Hopper was one of the big players behind Cinefagus, and it's unfortunate he's no longer with us because he helped jumpstart that. But, and here's the other thing, when it comes to this, in the script, it was originally going to be helium. But, you see, the problem is, it was.
Mommy!
I'm not joking, I wasn't.
Back Heineken! Back ribbon!
This is true, but what happened was when Dennis Hopper, who was big into drugs, he told him, no, not this. Helium wouldn't give you that kind of high. So I can't recall what it was, what kind of gas it was.
Here's the way you would know it could never be helium. Parents have helium to their kids.
Jeez.
Mommy!
Still, it's because I do have my story to tell with Dennis Hopper because I did meet him, and actually when I first met him, I almost didn't let him in to see Anthony Hopkins at first. I was like, oh no, we were booked, and I realized who it was. Pretty small guy. I was like, oh shoot, sorry, Mr. Hopper, and he goes, it's okay. But later on, I did meet him, and he was a very extremely nice man. While talking to him, I had to ask him this. So, Mr. Hopper, you were in An American Carol. It was the film directed by David Sucker. Because Dennis Hopper was a politically conservative guy. Oh no, thank you. He was offering me something. He was a politically conservative guy until lately, and I was like, well, why did you do the movie? Because it got bad reviews and all that. And he looks at me and he goes, fucking money, man.
And that's why that's why he did Super Mario Brothers, right?
Oh yeah. And his son complained about that. He go, why did you make that movie? The movie's terrible. And he goes, it paid for your friggin' shoes.
They're like, you got paid $50?
Yeah. And when they were making this movie, out of the corner of Isabel Rossellini's eyes, you could see David Lynch laughing his ass off.
There's a situation where it's like, I can't believe we're doing this.
Well, it's funny. I mean, it's both. It is scary and it's funny. So it works.
I just thought of something. Can you imagine like Dennis Hopper in other like famous Lynch villain roles? I mean, seriously, imagine him as Bob.
Just everything that he would do. That'd be awesome.
Hell, not just villain roles. I mean, as much as I can't believe the guy's name escapes me now. He's also in RoboCop. He played Leland Palmer. You know what that actor's name is?
I can't recall. No.
Can you imagine Dennis Hopper in that role?
He'd be good. Oh, and the other thing I forgot. I was thinking about the hands. That was something that Dennis Hopper added, where the gas that he was taking, it wasn't the real kind of gas, but the one that Dennis Hopper took in the 60s and the 70s, or what have you, that it would create the rings around the hands, so that's what he added.
It is supposed to be nitrous, right?
I can't recall what it is, to be honest.
It has to be nitrous or ether. And ether, if you're doing it like that, I think that's a pretty strong dose of ether if he's doing it like that.
Yeah.
I can't be sure because I've never done ether, but from my understanding of the effects.
But still, I mean, it's like, you're just like him. It's like, what did I just see here? That was both simultaneously scary, funny, perverted. What? Like
Erotic.
that's the world he got himself into, and it's effective because it does help when it comes to this mystery plot. Like, what the heck is going to happen next?
Yeah.
If this guy shows up, who else is going to show up?
Now, her name is Dorothy Valance.
I thought was it Dorothy Valance?
Yeah, that's her name in the movie. That's what Now, I can pretty much guess where Valance comes from. I'm going to guess it's like Richie Valance. Where do you think Dorothy comes from?
Wizard of Oz, because David Lynch loves him some Wizard of Oz. Especially, Wild at Heart is like the prime example of that. But he's mentioned on several occasions that's one of his favorite films of all time. So I mean, it's like when you just watch this film, it's just like every little movement is such. It's like you just don't, especially what she did. Because bear in mind, about 10 minutes ago, she had a knife. She's gonna kill him, castrate him. Who knows?
I think this is the movie poster image, right?
That's one. Yeah, that's one of the images that they had. Yeah. Like one of the other images I remember from the poster was like the picket fence. I remember that.
Now, the other thing is, the Jeffrey Beaumont name, that sounds like an old noir private eye doing.
Yeah, it
Jeffrey
does.
Beaumont.
Yeah. I mean, another thing that this does remind me of is sort of like, you had Twin Peaks and then you had some like picket fences came around, like the idea of these surreal show. I mean, picket fences is more, more of a straight narrative than Twin Peaks, but still, like, things strange are happening in small town America.
And I would say like certain like maybe early seasons of the X-Files too, except it's more on a broader scale.
Yeah.
And Fox Mulder, one of the many TV detectives inspired by Agent Dale Cooper.
I mean, Twin Peaks only lasted, 2 seasons, but it had such a huge effect on television.
To the point where people are still wanting more.
Yeah.
And this year, regardless of the show, they're getting more. Because Mark Frost is releasing that book.
Yeah.
It's supposed to bridge the 25-year gap between the last episode and the first episode of the new season.
Hit me. Hit me.
Baby, one more time.
Oh, boo. I mean, I just think that the performance itself is effective. Like, it's. I think what's happening here is that it make me feel, Roger, you uncomfortable. But for me, it does make me feel uncomfortable that she does have it. But I think she's conveying it perfectly. And this is a woman who you don't know her story 100%. You don't. You know, like she does have a husband and a kid, and that Frank has taken over. You know these bits, but you don't know everything. You got an emotionally traumatized woman.
And that kind of looks like a teardrop.
Yeah, very, very good point. And if anything, I think there's a symbol that also symbolizes it, right? Just the idea of her being cut, and just we're feeling underneath this glamorous blue velvet is this ugly gray sheet, this sad sight.
Going back to something that was kind of brought up earlier with Tom McLaughlin voicing Superman, who would you rather have seen? This is not saying he was ever up for the part, but who would you rather have seen as Superman if Kevin Smith and Tim Burton movie had gone off the ground? Cage or McLaughlin? Because as much as I love me some Cage, I might lean towards McLaughlin just because he's more of the classical look.
In the Tim Burton version, I would have gone with Cage, I think. But McLaughlin can play Superman now. They just do old Superman.
If they did Kingdom Come.
If they do that, I'd be okay with it. Or you know what's going to happen? Maybe John Hamm will have a change of heart. He'll play old Superman, like later down the line.
I'll say I never saw him as much as a Superman as I saw him as a Lex Luthor.
Well, he'd be good at that too. Can't been anything.
As long I don't care. As long as Jesse Eisenberg in the new movie steals 40 cakes, because 40 cakes is as many as 10 4 times.
Now, of course, like the light shine, that does kind of remind me of Mulholland Drive with the count.
Okay, now all of a sudden they're in the Black Lodge. Let's rock. You know what kind of disappointed me about the Twin Peaks box set I got? That it doesn't have the SNL clip. Because on the old DVD box set, I'd never.
Oh, you mean the Mike Myers thing?
No,
when he was the
dwarf and only that, but McLaughlin did a monologue.
Really?
It was before they revealed who the killer was. He says, "Oh yeah, we can't wait to go back and film Twin Peaks because on the next episode we film, we actually reveal that God, what was it? Cheryl, that the waitress that Mitch and Amik played. I can't remember what the character's name was. I think it was Cheryl or. God, I feel so bad. I can't remember. I just know it was her. That actress and that waitress was the one who killed Laura Palmer. And then
dun dun dun.
And then the entire audience kind of laughed. And then somebody dressed up as an assistant came up to come up and says, "Kyle, you got a phone call." And he goes backstage. Camera follows him to his phone call. It's like, "Hello, oh hi David, I'm just hosting this Saturday Night Live." And then you hear a bunch of yelling off the phone. "Ah! Well, David, I think they're still gonna want to watch." "Ah! No, I don't. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm sorry, Dave. David, I'm sorry. Okay, no, I'm not gonna. I'm sorry, Mr. Lynch, sir." Hangs it up, goes back out. I was just joking about that before. Shelley, that was it. I think her name was Shelley. Shelley doesn't kill anyone. We got a great show. Oh.
It's a strange world.
All this, the church and what have you. And I remember when we watched this in the E's class, like a lot of people were laughing.
Married to a man.
You know the only movie I laughed at in that class.
If I recall correctly, the movie you laughed throughout, and I laughed my butt off too. If I'm thinking it's the same one, Rambo: First Blood Part 2.
Oh, then I laughed at 2 movies.
Oh, then the other movie was it Scarface?
Yeah, because as soon as Push It to the Limit came on, I went, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Because you know what, I respect that people like the Pacino Scarface. I respect it.
Yeah.
But even if you love that movie,
Uh-huh.
I dare you to say to me with a straight face that Push It to the Limit and that entire montage fits in that movie without smirking once, without even a hint of smirk. Because I don't think you can do it. Because Because even if you like it, you have to admit.
I like it. That's the thing.
And even if you like, you have to admit, Push It to the Limit.
It's a fun song. It's a goofy song.
And it totally clashes with
Pushes to the limit.
Get back to the danger
Okay, let me try. Okay.
Why are there people like Frank?
Oh God.
Why is there so much trouble in this world?
You know what really gets me? I just realized that every time I watch this movie...
Does he have an earring?
Wait, let's see.
No. Oh, okay.
But you know what? Every time I've seen this movie, especially since I saw one movie in particular, when I mention who I'm thinking of, you'll know what movie it is. I keep thinking, is this the movie that Tommy Wiseau saw before he wrote The Room? Because the lines that Kyle MacLachlan just delivered work. And the stuff that Laura Dern is saying work because of the world Lynch has created, so they can get away with saying and delivering these lines. See, the reason she can get away with it because not only do they believe it, but the world that they're in is real.
Yeah.
It's 100% real. Then you get to Tommy Wiseau, it's just like, I'm fed up with this world. He says so many things that are trying to be deep, like, you know what they say, blah, blah.
Yeah, because then also the hands of a lesser director or of a lesser actress. That this monologue would sound so cheesy. But it's one of those.
And they both sell it. Like, look at McLaughlin.
Yeah. And
Like, you believe he's like on the verge of breaking.
Yeah, and of course with the church music in the background, the organ and all that.
What about the bats, old chum?
But it is one of those where he needed this moment. And just think of it this way. I'm going to say that I've comforted my wife on several occasions, right? And it's one of those where some
My
of the
dog
things...
is literally enthralled by
Oh, geez, yeah, he is. Look at him staring at me.
Go
But-
on.
Yeah, I will. It's one of those where when you do say
I lost
anything... you jerked off. When you do say something to somebody who you do care for that you love, that some of the things that you do say come off very... cheesy or melodramatic. Exactly, that's a good word. Or silly, that they do come off that way. That doesn't mean that it's not fake.
It's just if you go back and look and like
that means
that.
Yeah,
You're like hey, that worked.
yeah. And that is, it's not meant to be. And it's one of those where it does come off sentimental and melodramatic. And it's one of those where you do mean it from the heart.
And when you said about this room kind of being hell, look at the plants. They kind of look like flames.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I just want to get a mop and just clean up this place. It's perfect how it is. Just how disgusting it is.
Oh, you know what? Another cool thing about the Twin Peaks box set I got, it's the packaging itself, because it looks almost like a keepsake box. Then when you get, did I show it to you or?
I haven't seen it. No, I want to get it, the Blu-ray set. But the price kind of put me off a little bit.
Look on Amazon.
Yeah.
Look on Amazon. But when you get through all the discs, the back, what you see is like this picture of dirt. And when I first saw it, I thought it was just like the way the box is put together. Then I noticed that it's a flat, and you pull it up. Then there's the note from the murder scene that says "Buy or walk with me," written in red.
That's awesome.
They went all out.
Please be with me.
Now you see that paper bag right there. That represents life.
There's just so much beauty in the world. See, that's the thing. I like to think that when David Lynch drinks beer, he never drinks it from a bottle. He just pours it out.
Well, I do the same thing too. I got some black. It's like if you're like a Stein or something, you pour that shit.
Oh no, like I'm getting a bunch of these. You've seen my the pint glasses I have, you know,
Yeah.
Batman, and I'm getting this new kind that have I don't know, maybe your wife would like them too. They have superhero pinups on them.
Oh,
I got
quick thing I want to point out here. When one of the things Dennis Hopper wanted to do was this, just to show you that Hopper was that his character Frank Booth was a monster, but that there was still something in him, some hint of humanity in him. And
there's no such thing as a 100% monster.
Yeah, but as you're saying, there's pinup.
There's pinup superhero pint glasses, like a Wonder Woman pinup. I got a Black Canary one, where she's actually like a 1940s
There's
singer.
past Ribbit. Yeah. In the red. Are you sure he's not wearing an earring?
I don't think that's an earring. Like every time you point it out, I don't see it.
I think it's like.
I think that's Jack Nance dancing.
Oh yeah, we saw. I swear he's wearing it. And Brad Dourif is there too. In fact, you definitely know it's Brad Dourif because he does that. This is before Child's Play. And he does the wonderful Chucky laugh.
That's just his ear. I don't see it there. I think that's just the way his ear goes.
Okay, the Phantom earring.
Better than the Phantom Menace.
Yeah. But I just love how Lynch was setting it up, how this was different, and that is by adding the environment
See,
into it.
look right there.
No earring?
Yeah.
Yeah, damn it.
See?
You got some fucked up ears, Colin McLaughlin. Love ya. You got some fucked up ears.
I think his chin makes up for it.
Oh, and here's another thing what they did, because they wanted to show that they're going to construction, but they couldn't afford it. So what they did was they created this little thing there, and they just silhouette right there.
What's this actually made out of? That's not construction equipment. Just like 2x4s and shit.
Maybe, yeah. And that also does remind me of of Eraserhead as well. The sound effects too. Because that's the one thing with a David Lynch. You definitely recognize a Lynch film when it comes to its visuals, but it's also its sound as well. Because Lynch does really take a huge part in the music production of his films as well.
Oh yeah, because
He does some music.
I know that especially when it came to Twin Peaks, where they actually had songs with lyrics, he wrote the lyrics.
Yeah.
Like when Julie Cruz sang the theme of Twin Peaks with lyrics, the lyrics are from Lynch.
And in fact, there's a song at the end of the movie. I think did David Lynch come up with the lyrics to that too?
Maybe.
Keep going.
Oh.
You're late.
Sorry.
What am I gonna do now?
I'm gonna talk to him.
Just punch him in the
Yeah,
face. Just be like, I'm Colin McLaughlin. I was in Showgirls. Where were you at?
I'm going to be in Showgirls. I'm Colin McLaughlin. I'm gonna be in Twin Peaks. And Showgirls.
But he's going to be on Desperate Housewives. Well,
But I'm also gonna be a supervillain on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
actually, Desperate Housewives should be said more like this. I'm going to be on Desperate Housewives.
Now, you're not going to believe what I told you. Number one.
I have to take a number 2.
I staked out Frank's place with a camera. Now, there's another man involved in all this. I call him the Yellow Man. He's
Not to be confused with a man in a
Are
yellow
you
hat.
sure he's not wearing an earring?
I'm positive.
Go into Frank's building, laughing with Frank.
I know what you're talking about, but it's not that. If he's wearing an earring in some shots and in others, they're literally changing it from cut to cut. Because I don't see it. I don't see it right there at all.
I saw the yellow man come out and meet up.
And he had this very curious looking monkey. Stop begging for attention. Jeez.
Hey, isn't that Keenan with a mustache?
I've always wanted to see that.
They went to this factory building downtown, stood on a staircase and looked off.
Has he ever grown a mustache?
I think he's tried but lost interest.
Sure. You know what it really means, right? He can't grow it. He can't grow it. I can't grow a beard or a mustache.
You've grown a mustache.
Oh, that wasn't a mustache.
It was a John Waters mustache.
Oh no, I could have done it. Actually, I wish I could do that to really focus on doing that. I'd like to do that. That'd be cool. And it starts talking like John Waters. That'd be cool.
Continue with this.
So obviously in this movie, Isabella Rossellini, Dorothy Valance, she's meant to be the femme fatale.
Yeah.
And Laura Dern is the girl Friday, the sweet girl.
And one thing I just noticed here, like, you know how the first time they ate at that diner, it was an open book, right? Because they were right there in front of the window, such now they're against the wall. Don't want to be seen. What if Frank is there? What if the mysterious mustached man is there?
I'm involved in a mystery. I'm in the middle.
What if Monster Mash is
It's
there?
all secret.
You like mysteries that much?
Yeah. You're a mystery.
Yeah, I think our compatriot would be like, I don't like this, fellas.
He's not. Don't call him a compatriot.
Yeah.
I've seen the way he treats people he's supposed to be, close friends with. So.
Remember, you're not supposed to talk about Anita Sarkeesian anymore. You're giving her attention, even though you have every right in the world to do so. And so on and so forth.
Yeah, if that's the way he treats his friends.
Must be very lonely there. Actually, you can hear the little bit of the music right there. Which I actually think, did Angelo Badalamenti help with the music as well, writing the music?
I think I think so.
Because, I mean, that was one of my favorite little, compositions that Badalamenti has created. And I love how the juxtaposition of that, of like when you go with like the first time it's shown, it's Americana, and now he's going. I love how he ascends to hell.
Yeah. And now she's draped in hell. And of course, as soon as the pure one rebuffs him, he's off to get it here. Punch me in the cunt.
Not the dreaded cunt punch.
Use my titties as speed bags. That's an appropriate noise.
Yeah. That was none of us fapping. That was the dog. I swear.
Fapping.
Yeah. Oh, he's back.
Are you a good boy?
You mean?
Do you want to do bad things? Anything?
What do you want?
I want you to hurt me.
No. I don't want to hurt you. I told you I want to help you. Whether I know it's not with
Oh, goodness.
something.
And there was one other thing I do remember when it comes to this. There was a bit of controversy that some people were going with the idea that all victims like to do this, like to get hit.
No. But there is the possibility that something kind of got unleashed in her
Yeah.
just by being around Frank.
Yeah.
Because that, again,
And there's the fire as well. See, there you go.
and
drawn to the flames.
and again, that's also kind of showing the duality that you can be all, apple pie Americana, sweetness on the outside,
And there's nothing.
gorgeous,
Yeah.
glamorous lounge singer, and then underneath, slap me in the fucking face when I come.
And even then, like how she says it, season me now, or how the sound effects are. You see how the sex is and how slow it is, and the sound effects. There is nothing about that that's erotic. There's nothing that's pleasing to. I mean, yeah, you do see naked bodies. Yes, he's got a fit body. She's got a fit body. But there's nothing pleasing about it because we know that there's no sense of joy coming from it. That it's just it's what I call sexless sex, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I should go.
Yes.
And so when we're feeling uncomfortable, well, of course we're feeling uncomfortable because, well, who knows? There might be some people getting their kicks off this sort of thing, but no.
I want you to stay.
Yeah, well, I've seen Keenan's sex tape. Yeah, it's,
I looked horrible in that.
yeah. What were you doing in there in those tight panties?
Taking them off.
Yeah, but why was it purple?
That's one of my favorite colors. Look at my shoes.
You're my special friend.
Oh shit, you wore those shoes too, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Where do you think I got them?
I'm still trying to figure out how the hell did Keenan fit an entire gopher up his ass?
It helps me.
CGI.
Is he the answer for everything?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm CGI.
Well, I hope nobody deletes you.
Delete. Delete.
No!
Exterminate.
Oh shit.
Sure.
This is what happens to Biff in his game when they reach 50.
Something you could
What are you doing, butthead?
you were just like
Oh. You're from the neighborhood. Your neighbor.
Would you be mine?
What's your name, neighbor?
God.
And I just love how she's right in the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fuck up.
Butthead.
Are you looking for one?
See, Brad Dourif actually is dressed like one of the future gang members from
Yeah.
Back to the Future 2.
Didn't Gerpy dress like... I think I saw Gerpy dressed like Brad Dourif at MacFest.
No, he did have, didn't he? Was it you that had the hat, or was it Justin that had the
That yellow hat? No,
No, the Back to the Future 2 hat.
Oh, Andrew got it. I remember this. Andrew got the hat, and I was like, "Where'd you get the hat?" I went to there. They're selling it down there. I need to get it, and then I did. Just best story ever. And that was the day I bought the hat.
Alright, where do you want to go?
I think you do hear the Chucky laugh.
We got to go to bed.
Ben's.
All right, we got you.
There it is.
Oh, you know what? Even though, and I'm not saying that that he would not have been chosen because of his horse ass, because I honestly believe that Nolan is a smart enough guy to do it. Imagine Dourif as the Joker.
Oh God.
Hadn't been pussy yet.
Oh God. That's like one of the great what ifs. I would cast him as old Joker. Now,
Oh, from what have you seen like Jared? The first picture of Jared Leto as the Joker's
yeah,
been released.
I think I've seen that. Although,
Do you know what? So you've seen the Killing
Yeah.
Joke picture?
yeah. It doesn't have the smile though.
Thank you, Raymond.
Yeah, but they're hiding it because in the shadows you can
Yeah.
see the hint of red in his
Yeah.
lips. His hair is green.
Oh.
I think he might do a good job. I mean, you have the story of him being a
God.
total butthole, but
Yeah.
I think he's a good actor.
Oh yeah. Oh, and here we go.
I want you to be a friend of
This is the line.
Hey, Raymond,
Oh
there's
God.
enough beer for Ben, too.
It's a classic line.
Heineken, fuck that shit. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
And I have to be honest, I kind of agree with Frank.
I love Heineken.
Heineken. Then I like.
God, just the whole thing. I like how he just Ben just sat there and he was able to tell by the oh, Frank's here. And just all like the older, larger ladies sitting there.
They're all supposed to be prostitutes, right?
I believe so. I mean, that's Ben. Okay, that's an earring.
Yeah, that's
an earring on Ben. We got an earring. Oh God, I'd love to be Ben for Halloween. This Ben.
I thought you were. I thought you have been that guy for Halloween.
No, I haven't. I wanted to.
Okay, go to like a Savers or like Salvation Army and look for that shit. I guarantee you they have everything you need to be him. Because you know who I was last Halloween, right?
Who?
Dale Cooper.
Oh yeah, you were. I forgot.
I walked around with the white coffee cup all night.
How does shit are Fine. How are you?
God, he's so creepy. I honestly think he's creepier than Frank Booth.
I think they're both equally creepy.
What I always think is scarier is the guy who refuses to yell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're just both one over the top. And
I mean, it's funny. It's funny I brought up Brad Dourif as the Joker because right now, Dean Stockwell as Ben is getting off that.
Yeah. Yeah, they all should be the Joker. And
Jack Nance.
Now, who's Jack Nance? What?
He has been in Eraserhead.
He was
also, if you're a fan of the band Suicidal Tendencies. Is it Suicidal Tendencies? He did it.
That I don't know.
You know the song Institutionalized?
Oh, he did that.
He's in the video for that. He's the father. I think it is Suicidal Tendencies that did that song, but he's the father. He was also in Twin Peaks, obviously. He has been in pretty much every David Lynch.
Unfortunately, up until Lost Highway, where he was murdered.
Where's the fucking beer, man?
He was murdered? I thought something else happened to him.
I think he was murdered, yeah. Oh, I love this. It's my favorite
So
line.
I thought his death had something to do with his alcoholism.
Fucking shit, you just poured the fucking beer.
And that's not Mickey. That's not Mickey Rourke.
Okay, if I ever get an opportunity to do a Kevin Smith Q&A, I have to ask him. Whenever he's writing Jason Mewes dialogue as Jay, is a little bit of it inspired by Frank Booth? Because it's a weird comparison to make, but watch Clerks and watch the shit that spews out of Mewes' mouth.
That's a good point, actually.
You like, Frank? Here's to your fun. Cheers.
He's so fucking creepy. He's wearing lipstick in that, right?
Yeah, looks like it. Or just how he holds it.
Because I know he's definitely wearing some kind of makeup, like foundation or something.
Yeah.
Love beer. Love beer. Here's the beer. Here's the bin.
You didn't have me a beer to give him a toast.
Here's the bin.
Be polite.
Here's the bin.
I love how if you know what Hopper does, how he has his fingers done like a gun, which I really do love the whole moves that he brings. The thing about Hopper is that you don't really think of it, but he really is a really well trained actor studio kind of guy. You can definitely see it in terms of how he moves and such, especially his hands. You can definitely tell because that's the one thing. I would talk to my younger sister about how she could tell who were the actors who were trained, like theater and such, and who weren't. Watch how they use their hands. That's how you can tell. Like the ones who really have been trained, they do stuff with their hands.
Use this for.
And I remember somebody giving me shit for that. You're like, yeah, you should have seen that one movie, The Hands. Holy shit. It's like no matter what
I've determined you have to be Ben for Halloween. You have to be Dean Stockwell, Ben for Halloween.
I'd go for
There's
it.
no other choice. And then we go to a karaoke where we sing Candy Colored Clown.
Gordon went right up to him in broad daylight, of course, because he's the man, right? He took all his drugs and made him fuck. Candy-colored clown made clothes.
And I remember Roy, that actually did help with the jump start of Roy Orbison's career. And at first he was very reluctant to have it in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he was then finding, because this was also the first time that Roy Orbison saw me used. The second time was the Spanish cover of Crying. I mean, Lynch does a wonderful job utilizing, Orbison's songs.
Clown they call the Sandy.
Daddy! 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 No! No! Daddy, Mama loves you.
I'm so glad that we never see what exactly happens there. Oh God! And this, do you think
He's probably just like your average shit little kid. No, mommy, love me. Donnie's Cartman.
Do you think this is probably the most famous scene in the entire film? What do you think?
I think this entire sequence might be because you have those lines like "Let's fuck."
Oh yeah, but just this in particular, it's like everything is getting more bizarre, and then this.
Again, you have to do this for Halloween. There's no choice in the matter now.
And it's like you just watch and you just go, what have we gotten ourselves into? Why did he just stop to start singing? Well, start singing, but miming, lip sync to In Dreams. But then again, you kind
Would
of...
you have preferred him do Mighty Mouse like Andy Kaufman?
Maybe. But then I think I know the reason why.
Look up Dorothy, though.
Yeah, oh God. That's the reason why. Him. He does it because that song means something to him. Oh, it's so brilliant.
That's the other thing about anything David Lynch does. Every movie or everything he does has every character deserves to have their own movie or
Yeah.
show about them. Because wouldn't you watch a movie all about Ben?
Yeah. And I love that. And I love that relationship between Frank and Ben. That we don't know exactly what it is, but Ben knows Frank.
Let's hit the fucking road. We're giving our...
So, ladies and gentlemen, Dean Stockwell, one of the best cameos in film history. Definitely one of the best cameos.
What else has he been in with Lynch? I can't remember offhand.
Doom.
How about you?
So he's only been in Dune and...
I think so.
That's unfortunate.
No smile for Frank? No?
Okay, fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah, he should have won the Oscar, Dennis Hopper. He should have been nominated for this and should have won.
I'll see you Tuesday.
Go out tomorrow and buy that jacket.
Right
I will.
Savers, I guarantee you Savers has it.
Here you go. Like another grip. Well, another grip, but of course this one.
Let's fuck! I'll fuck anything
And-
that moves!
Yeah, Jason Mewes has said that.
Yeah,
I guarantee he said that in Clerks.
it's true. Yes.
So I'm willing to bet that, as weird as it may seem, there might be a small chance that the character of Jay is based both on the real Jason Mewes and Frank Booth. So it's like what? So Jay of Jay and Silent Bob is what would happen if Frank Booth was a benign stoner who still thought he was badass. What?
Lost Highway?
What? What?
I think that's what I also love about Frank. He goes and does all these things, and then he's like stops, like, wait a minute, why am I contradicting myself? What are we doing, dear? What am I doing, messing around with him?
What are you looking
I mean, would you argue that he's probably one of the most unpredictable characters in film history?
Yeah.
I mean, there are moments like this. It's like when I see characters like this, like also I see it in Hannibal Lecter. I see it in Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker.
I see it
It's
as
like-
Nicholson's Joker. Too.
Yeah. I mean, you just don't know what they're going to say or do next. I mean, you've got little hints. Okay, he might curse like a sailor. Out pops the gas, but you don't know if you're going to get like nicer Frank or more insane. How far is he going to go?
What are these?
Just say please, fuckhead!
Oh, baby. Houston.
Jesus.
What's the matter? Get him back. What's the matter? Just a little red, that's all. Let me feel
God.
it. Come here.
Hey, leave her alone.
And there you go, Roger. Roger Ebert. That's the voice of the audience. Oh shit.
And that's the fist of the audience.
Next! You out of the car, fuck! Get him out of the car, Raven! Shut up!
I'm just imagining that's what Justin's going to look like when he's older. Jack Nance with the hat.
Honestly, I hope if I ever meet Justin in person, he actually is dressed like that, because that would be cool as shit. That or the pink hat he used to harass. Who did he bother? Was it the cinema snob, I believe?
No, Kyle Colgren. The wonderful Kyle Colgren.
Oh,
who's
the
a-
Owen Citizen.
Who's a bit of a... Should I tell a story about him?
No, he doesn't deserve
Oh, okay. I'll tell a story about him later. Maybe during like Star Wars prequel commentary,
it.
right?
Yeah, when there's nothing good to talk about.
Yeah. There's some stuff good to talk about, but whatever. We're talking about Blue Velvet. This is good. This is also like another favorite moment, my favorite scene of mine, where it's like, it's sort of like, you know, following up with, you know, what happened at the with Ben. But now it's like you kind of felt weirdly safe with Ben in a weird way. That it's like with Ben, at least there'd be some control because it was his turf.
And Frank wouldn't want to step in his friend's toes.
Yeah.
Austin, your love letter.
Oh, I love this.
Straight from my heart, fucker. You know what a love letter is? It's a bullet from a fucking gun, fucker.
Should have been nominated for this.
The love letter to me. You're fucked forever. You understand, fuck?
It's just the sweat coming off his weird chipped ears, David. It's not his piercing.
See, for me, this is when people ask me what's horror to me, like what scares me. This scares me, and I don't mean in terms of like this is real, therefore that's what scares me. But it's just how far a person can go to hurt somebody else. Like that, part of you feels like no, you shouldn't do that. That we as humans should have should be compassionate for one another, right? In terms of this, does he have compassion? Does Frank have it?
In small bursts.
Small burst, but it's like, and it's gone. To me, that's what's really scary. It's a funny image.
Feel these 24-inch pythons, brother.
You like that?
And you're like, well, why would he say that? So he can show him off. God. It's like, I've seen this film, so many times, and I still squirm.
It's the only movie you've fapped to more than Solo.
I have to admit, folks, I've only seen Solo about 4 times, and that's including the commentary. Yeah. Blue Velvet, I've seen a lot. I've seen that film plenty of times. It is an earring! Look at that, right there!
But it's not in any other shots.
He was wearing an earring the entire time! Yes! I was right!
It's not. Then why isn't it in any other shots?
I don't know! Maybe it was there! It's a very small earring.
I want to laugh my ass off. It's not in this shot.
It is! Right there! He's got an earring.
But it was not in any other shot. I swear
It's
to
there.
God.
It was there! It was the reason why he has the earring is because he was gone and he comes back. It's supposed to represent that even though he is still a small town boy, it's still one of those where he's gone to see
if
the
we
world.
watch this again, that would be the first time he shows up, I guarantee. Because it was not in any other shot.
I swear. Ladies and gentlemen, when you watch it, pay attention to Kyle MacLachlan's ear.
We were both paying attention to it and we couldn't see it.
I saw it!
Yeah, and then a bunch of other times you didn't see it.
Or at least I
remember?
thought I didn't see it, but then he gets a very thin silver
And then
earring.
he has fucked up ears. Yeah, you do, man.
You know, I got a feeling that when I watch this movie, that my wife's going to look at me and go, now, David, you said it's one of your favorite movies. Do you have any ideas from this film concerning a little bit after night and it's after bedtime? And I'm sort of like, no. And of course, the dog gave me a look. Give me that look, dog.
Look at your father. You might get in trouble.
But still, though.
Forgive me. You've got to tell him.
Okay. I promise I won't mention you.
Jeffrey, I mean it. It doesn't matter.
I'll see you Friday.
It's not there.
Yeah, it is. Right there. I see it.
Now you're going to see it now all the time. even when
No,
it's
I
not
see it.
there.
It's there. It's there. I see it. There's a little light hitting the earring. I just got knocked out by a dwarf.
Let's rock.
But sometimes it's good to talk things over, Jeffrey. For instance, they say that many marriages are saved by...
And of course, everyone's like, "Oh, he's gonna beat her."
One of these days, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Uh-oh. Dun dun dun. Na 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 na.
Right up to him in broad daylight, of course, because he's the man, right? Who he took all strips away.
And Gordon is a name that David Lynch would take for himself when he would appear on Twin Peaks as FBI supervisor Gordon Cole.
Yes.
Where
What was his gimmick?
He was deaf, and he would scream a lot.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't, because that was funny. Except for Shelley the waitress, who he could hear perfectly.
Yeah.
Also, he could kiss Machen. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Machen?
Cooper, you remind me today of a small Mexican chihuahua. That was his other thing. He called chihuahuas chihuahuas.
And he would call Machen Amik Matchkin. Even though he knew how to pronounce her name right.
Okay. Looks like you had a bad face.
Yeah, I think if people don't know, I love David Lynch's performance as Gordon.
Would you like some pie? Massive quantities.
I think that we mentioned them, we mentioned Burton, Gilliam, and Lynch, and what all three are known for. I mean, obviously they're known for their style, the fact that they were artists, painters, cartoonists before they started making films. But the one thing is that they're known for is finding very funny things in dark places.
Does Gilliam have his own troupe of actors he uses over and over again? Because I can't really think of it.
He does. More than once. He loves working with his Monty Python guys like Michael Palin and
How long
Eric Idle, I think, and John Cleese. You're counting the Monty Python.
Yeah, I don't
guys,
remember
too.
the last time I've seen any of them.
Jonathan Pryce. I know he's used Jonathan Pryce at the very least 3 times.
Wait, I know he's in Brazil. He's the lead in Brazil.
He's also in The Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
Okay.
And he's also in The Brothers Grimm. Heath Ledger he used twice. Christopher Plummer he used at the very least twice for 12 Monkeys and The Imaginary of Dr. Parnassus. Johnny Depp he used for Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, the little small cameo in Imaginarium. And he was supposed to be in The Man Who Killed Don Quixote.
Is that back on or back off?
I have no idea. I want him to make it. I want my Terry Gilliam Don Quixote film. But that's what I do notice is that all 3 filmmakers also share this, that they do love working with certain actors. And I don't mean like the stereotypical, Johnny Depp, comic book, whatever. But I mean like other actors that they do love using. And I remember when Burton was asked this, what was the reason why he would use all these other actors, not only Burton, but Jeffrey Jones, Catherine O'Hara, people like that. And he goes, well, it's because it's one of those where he loves working with actors. It's like working with paint. And that is like it's like when you go and go there and make like a painting, what have you, and you use this one color and one way that looks beautiful. But then what if you use the color a different way? And then so you get, especially when the ones who know how to improvise, like Michael Keaton, and they will surprise you with these new things that you didn't know they were able to do. So I think that's where it comes from. It's like the idea that their fellow collaborators can go and produce something new, and they want to see that. As the dog is looking at me like he wants to kill me. I know, and I think that's also the same way with you, Cameron, in the sense that, you work with, like, Nathan, like, just let everyone know that Cameron does use Nathan a lot in his films, and I'm pretty certain in future feature-length films he's going to use Nathan, and that is, that Nathan's a good actor.
And he'll get naked.
Yeah, and he's willing to do that, but you do want to see Nathan do all these new things, right? So that's why David Lynch can use Kyle MacLachlan in all these films, or Laura Dern and what have you, because he can trust in their abilities, and he knows that they can see him do something new.
And he's trying to get back to normal life.
Yeah. But It's one of those when once you step your toe into the proverbial dark pond, you just don't get off, scot free. It sticks to you.
It sounds a little bit like this. I'm going to cancel the Psycho score in that piece.
Yeah.
Just let's see. Okay, I'll get it. Okay, thanks. Good.
Honey, are you still dating Mike?
He's all ready.
Great.
Yeah, but he does stand out though. Like actually, oh god, do I dare say that he kind of looks like an art student?
Hey, John, get a move on.
Just a minute, Tom.
See, earring.
Easy does it, Jeff.
It was not there before.
It was there.
No, it wasn't.
The amazing appearing, disappearing, reappearing ear. What is this? Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Get it in gear, pal.
So long,
Oh
Jeffrey.
god, he's gonna kill me.
Have a nice time tonight, okay?
Okay. Just a little fatherly advice?
That's right, Jeffrey.
Because your dad had a stroke. You can't talk.
Good night, Mom.
Bye. Have a good time.
Thanks, Andy.
Good night, Mom.
I got my eye on you, you punk.
Why doesn't anybody like my yellow jacket?
Because you look like an idiot. I think there's certain colors that certain people can't pull off. It has
Well,
to be certain-
there's certain colors I don't think work as the main color for anything. Like yellow, I don't think works as the main color unless you're a giant bird on an educational program.
I think it works out though for him.
Well, yeah, because he's not
It stands out
supposed
as a
to.
bad guy. Well, the other
He's
thing
not
is
supposed to look stylish.
so we are thinking of like when it comes to costume choices that involve the color yellow. What about the Los Angeles Lakers?
That doesn't even seem like straight on yellow. That's more like a gold.
Well, that's like yellowish purple, yellow.
No, but it also doesn't seem like bright yellow. Like that seems more.
Oh,
like
we're going for bright.
That
yellow.
seems more like a deep. That seems more like a gold.
Okay.
Gold, I think, can work.
We're going for like a bright yellow.
Yeah.
You mean like what happened to Bluto at the end of Popeye?
Mm-hmm. Like the only person who I've ever seen in a movie that really rocks like bright yellow is been Bruce Lee and Uma Thurman.
Oh yeah.
Taking care of.
Quentin Tarantino, you rip off.
You want something to drink?
Mysteries of Love by James. Actually, the one thing I love about we're watching this with the subtitles on. I love the fact that these subtitles say this song's about to begin, and the people who probably have never they're deaf, probably never heard of it. They're like, oh, I like this song, and they're just judging by the lyrics.
And Lynch wrote these lyrics.
Yeah. Because I remember that Lynch had difficulty trying to figure out what song to play, because I think there might have been another song he wanted to use, or just coming up with the lyrics. He was trying and he couldn't find something until finally hit him. And there's the earring.
It wasn't there any time before he got his ass kicked.
It's just a very small earring. See, this is David Lynch's way of saying, you know what? Stay away from that creepy, perverted sex shit. This is what you go with. You try to find
Stay
that
away
real
from
love.
fucking Philadelphia.
I know the mysteries of love. David Lynch married this woman, divorced her like a month later, and then got some hot chickie poo instead. What is true, dog? Don't
Wait,
look at me like
are you
that.
talking about he got with Isabella Rossellini? Then
Oh, no. This was this woman he was with for years named Mary Sweeney. They had a son together. She was like, I think a co-editor or co-writer on one of his films, many of his films actually. And what happened was, they decided, hey, let's get married. And then they did. And then they divorced like a month later or so.
Was that also his daughter's mother, or is that somebody else?
Somebody else. You mean Jennifer Chambers Lynch?
Yeah.
No, that's his first wife.
Okay.
I think his first wife. And of course, Jennifer Chambers Lynch is infamous for directing a film called Boxing Helena, which actually
Has Sherilyn Fenn.
Yeah, and was Julian Sands in any of
Yeah,
it?
Julian Sands was in it.
But was he also one in Twin Peaks? Like, for some reason, I
No,
thought
he
Julian
wasn't.
Sands was in there.
I don't think I can
Yeah.
remember.
And of course, Julian Sands, to those who don't know, I'm a big fan of Mark Kermode, and if Mark Kermode had to pick his least favorite actor, it's Julian Sands, which made me go, as a man who grew up watching, Arachnophobia, who loves Room with a View, Warlock, who loves, Naked Lunch, and you go, really? Julian Sands? Of all the actors? Him? And then he died. Yes, I'm drinking fuel. Yeah, but actually, to ask you, when it comes to Lynch's narrative, this is probably the most straightforward of his films, right?
This and I think also the Twin Peaks movie. Fire Walk with Me.
Well, Twin Peaks, The Fire Walk with Me is still pretty...
But it has a fairly cohesive narrative because of what it has to deal with.
Right. But this is probably the most mainstream film he's done, I think. It's fair to say.
Dune.
Dune is not. It may have a big ass budget and all. That is not mainstream. That thing is just. Ugh. I'm not saying because the quality. It's just bizarre. Oh, and this was the moment that Ebert really got mad at. Was her, walking out naked in front of the lawn. And she's like, oh, she looks uncomfortable, and because she looks that way, that the actress is feeling uncomfortable.
Who's that, huh? Is that your mother? That's your mother, Jeffrey? No, come here, you guys. Actually, I have someone to turn off.
Were they balance?
Which, of course, I'm not seeing it at all. I mean, I'm seeing a woman who just got beat up, but it's one of those where it feels that, and of course, you're wondering, how did she end up there? Well, she saw the driver's license, right? There you go. Yeah. So now she knows where to go. Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe she just randomly appears.
Take her to my house. My father can get an ambulance faster than anyone. No, probably not. Why?
She's supposed to be out of it.
Yeah.
You, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Oh, God. That's the one thing I love about Laura Dern's face, is that she has this ability to be just like, has a wonderful face that lights up a room, and then she can have this face that's like this I'm going to kill you, utter terror, which I really like.
You better go and get an ambulance if you be.
Is that a wide-angle lens?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like how it's like just warping the whole perspective of the image, right? Just like it's I know what it is. It's like the innocent world is now interfering with the dark world and screwing things up. Oh no. God damn it, Dorothy.
Called for an ambulance and the police are on their way.
Don't get the police! Stop it! I love you! Love me!
I remember this clip they used for the squid and the whale. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
When Jeff Daniels took his son and his son's girlfriend to well, let's go see it. It's a good movie. And they're just sitting there like, Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there's certain movies that you don't take, out for date night.
Jeffrey.
This is not one of them. This is a perfect date movie.
Oh, jeez. You hear that, honey? If you're listening to this, we're going to watch this movie. It's going to be date night. Oh, my God.
Help him.
But I love McLaughlin's face, because on one hand he wants to be like, to calm her down, but he's like, I fucked up. I fucked up.
Okay, get off me, crazy.
So I don't know what she's talking about. She's like, woo! Yeah, you see the disease, you mean, I had a cold. I passed on a cold, come on. Come on, puts me disease in me, what's this foreign shit? I mean, you know how those foreigners are.
I gave her cancer.
Oh, God. I was just having fun here. Cancer.
Why are they picking? Why is the Ecto-1 picking her up?
Oh, jeez. I swear to God, I put a condom on. There's no disease in it.
No, I didn't.
No.
Well, it does make sense. Yeah, I think it's earned. But I can definitely understand. It's like for some folks.
I'm wondering. I wonder what Ebert was carrying with him when he saw this.
I don't know, but it's one of those where when they're talking about it, that
It feels like they were both watching two completely separate movies.
well, yeah, but the thing is with what happened with Siskel trying to make this argument, like you remember this movie you know this movie more than films you even give a thumbs up to, and Ebert had to say, you know what, you do have a point that I have given thumbs down and thumbs up the films I don't even remember, but I do vividly remember Blue Velvet. So is that really much of a bad thing? But then again, you then go, well, yeah, but I do remember films like The Life of David Gale, which I said before, it's one of my least favorite films of all time, and I do remember that more fondly than films that I would recommend. But that doesn't necessarily mean a good thing. It just happens. Certain films, they hit you, and it's right. Some films, they hit you, and they hit it real hard. I mean, kind of like you and your dislike of the Star Wars prequels. Like when you
Is this Nightingale?
what?
No, this is the song that was earlier.
Yeah.
This song also sounds a little bit like Nightingale from Twin Peaks. A little bit. Well, the thing is about bad movies is when they're bad, everything that makes them bad just stands up and yells at you.
Look, this is an emergency.
It's not only that, but then of course there are the bad films that are fun to watch, and then there are the bad films that are just
Horrible.
just a chore. I mean, for me, those films are The Life of David Gale, Pearl Harbor. Those are the movies that just for me they stick with me, and not in the good way.
Let's see. For me, it's obviously the Star Wars prequel. My well-known dislike for Iron Man 2. I can't stand Iron Man 2. I think it's horrible.
Yeah, I remember that one, especially when a lot of the folks. Maybe that will be my pick. No, it won't. It won't. I don't even own a copy of the film. I'm not gonna go get a copy.
The weird thing is, I do for the sake of completionism.
Oh, all right.
Which is weird because I just got rid of Star Trek Into Darkness. I traded it in because I can't stand the movie anymore.
Aw.
But on the safe side, I didn't buy Iron Man 2. It was a gift, but I just don't
Okay.
want to get rid of it because of completionism. However, and let's see, I also, like, the more recent movie I absolutely despised would be the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. That was one of the worst things I've ever fucking seen in my life.
Now here's the question: like, what happened?
I think it's better not to know.
Yeah, but I mean, like, why is he still standing like that?
Maybe a bullet lobotomy.
I mean, but that is a good point, though. Like, don't explain, just show. Let the audience fill in the clues.
Okay, what do you think happened?
I don't want to know. But let me think. Well, I'm just going to base off what I see so far. I saw, like, the hole in the television. You see that. He's still moving. He's still moving. He's still standing there. He got shot in the brain.
Is it a gunshot or is he just bashed with the TV?
True, maybe. And, of course, he got shot.
Frank did them both.
Yeah.
Frank did them both at the apartment and made Dorothy watch.
Yeah. And I think it is one of those where it's like he did it in such a way where he...
Like, Frank was going to kill him. Yellow Coat went, no, you can't do that. That's a little bit too far. And Frank brained him on the TV. Made him stand up, be a good little lobotomy guy.
Love letter straight from your heart.
Oh, and that goes back to what Frank said. Love letter straight to the heart.
And what is a love letter?
A bullet.
From what?
Frank's fucking
from a
gun.
fucking gunfucker. What are we seeing right now?
Bullets from guns. Maybe they mean sperm from your pee.
Do you own the AVGN movie?
Nope.
I hope it's on Netflix.
Why?
Well, nah. Oh God, you really give me, folks.
I hate the thing is that if you ever see that movie, and I think you're actually curious enough, so to the point where I'll say, when you see that movie, you'll see what I'm talking about. That's one of the worst movies I have ever fucking seen. And everyone who's in it, even if they just cameo, like, we're talking about people who are, have some kind of respect. Like, I think Lloyd Kaufman makes a cameo, if I remember correctly. He should be ashamed. It's that fucking awful.
Also, I just I love how the image of how small he is. It's just like how he wanted to be the big hero, but like ultimately, it's sometimes you just can't control it. You can't save the day. You can't save Dawn. You can, however, kill the demon who's about to be coming up the staircase. Who looks at all? Are you sure it's not Jim Croce?
It's Jeff Goldblum with a mustache. Yes, a mustache. And you know what? I will not even count the horrible Channel Awesome things as movies because they aren't. They don't count as movies. Let's see.
Dun dun dun! It's a twist. The one and the same. Now, is this treated as a really big deal, or just like,
I think it's more like an oh.
Yeah, but we don't mean that in a bad way. We don't mean that in a bad way. It is like oh, because it does, but it's because at this point we know that it's Frank and it's run.
It's Groucho Marx.
Ah!
Oh, Superman 4 is another movie.
It's Mr. Carter.
Superman 4 is another movie I can't stand. Superman 3, I think, is only good because Annette O'Toole is Lana Lang. She's great.
And the robot scene. That robot scene freaking scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's me. I'm hiding in Dorothy Ballard's apartment. Frank is on his way up here, and well, there's a man disguised. I've got no way out. It's gonna be you.
Oh, Jurassic Park 3 I hate, too.
Oh, yeah.
Detective Williams, I'm hiding in the back bedroom. Please hurry.
Back where it all started.
Yep. Being Mr. Foyer. Welcome back. Dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back. And he does have a cute little butt. Can we agree he's got a cute little butt?
Yeah.
We're going to add it to the great man-ass list? Yeah, there you go. Kyle, you got a great little man-ass there.
Gonna stick this in my cup.
Here I come. Ready or not.
Yo, fuck! I can hear you fucking You got about one fucking this way.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
Right now he's just breathing his own farts.
Oh, boy. Did James Rolfe write that?
No, because it's too good. God, that movie was awful.
You know, the thing is, what James Rolfe would do.
You would have Frank Booth take a shit.
God. Well, no, I mean, that you'd say the only reason why this film was great is because Dennis Hopper swears.
And it would be a masterpiece if you took a shit on Kyle MacLachlan. Better shoot you again.
Still, though, I mean, it's like, you know what? Actually, the pose of Don reminds me
praying.
of. Well, praying, but also how his face is. It reminds me of You know, the little short he did, a little cartoon about the screaming faces? That's what it reminds me of.
This, however, Ebert jerked off to repeatedly.
Oh, yeah, of course. It's just me. I killed Satan.
I killed King Koopa.
Papa.
Papa?
Oh, boy. Oh, Jeffrey, come here, you big lug.
After this, he was put in Windows protection program and joined the FBI.
Yep. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. The nightmare is over. Or so it seems.
Frank Booth will return in Blue Velvet 2. Well, I remember SNL's had a surprising amount of David Lynch sketches.
Oh yeah, like what was it, the Frank Booth
I can't
trivia
remember.
show? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Because it's heavily censored. It's like, don't you frickin' look at me. That was good. Actually, I remember Jim Carrey doing that an awful lot on Living Color. You just go, don't look at me! Don't look at me! Now look for the earring. Oh wait, it's on the other one. Alright, so you better clean that ear out, Kyle. You better not be any earwax. You fucking asshole. I see the earwax there, you little bitch.
I don't like it when you're talking about it.
Here, let me shave that little bit of eyebrow there.
Oh, the Robin.
The Robins have come. Yeah! Cameron!
The
They
Robins
have come!
The Robins have come, but the owls are not what they seem.
They're raiding my wardrobe again.
Or have you been raiding his?
Little combat. Little combi.
Feel much better now, Jeff.
Aww.
See,
he's
earrings up there. There's the Robin, old chum.
And he's eating the evil bug. Yep.
Okay, Jeffrey. Sounds good.
But even then, it's like how it's done. It's...
Oh wait, no, he didn't raid your wardrobe. He raided Marty McFly's wardrobe.
Maybe Robin's here.
Dun-dun-dun.
I don't have to do that. I could never eat a bug.
You're not a fucking bird, Aunt Mary.
It's a strange world, isn't it?
Do you want to chicken dance with me?
That's pretty much it. That's the movie, folks. The Robins will come back and destroy evil.
Without the help of a bat, old chum. Best acting in the movie, 5 out of 5.
And there we go. The little kid's back with the mama.
Mom, what happened to Dad?
That's a long story. Actually, I was going to ask you, do you consider David Lynch a positive filmmaker?
Yeah.
And even though he does touch on some dark issues and the dark characters, you know, terrible things do happen to them, that ultimately he does want what's best for humanity, right?
Yeah. You could never learn anything about any of this shit.
Can see blue velvet.
Do you think there's a part of her that kind of misses the whole thing?
Probably.
A little Stockholm Syndrome, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not to say that all victims who go through this kind of abuse go through that. We're just specifically talking about Dorothy.
You know, don't placate anyone. If people want to see into what you say, or if you don't, without the intent, then fuck them.
Yeah.
Don't ever placate anyone. It's bullshit.
That's the film.
And these are very like old school kind of credits too.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Sparky the dog.
He was the best actor. So, Cameron, I must ask, what do you think of Blue Velvet?
I love Blue Velvet. We're watching my Blu-ray of it.
It's true. I need to get the Blu-ray of it because the picture of Wally is astounding. It looks gorgeous. And this is one of my favorite films of all time. It is, for my money, the best film of 1986. And there's some great films that came out in 1986. You know, Platoon, one that, off the top of my head, Hannah and Her Sisters. But this is the one that really does stand out. In fact, I even remember when Woody Allen was talking about like the Oscars thing, because Hannah and Her Sisters was up for something. He goes, the film that should have been nominated for all the Oscars. Oh, there's Jennifer Lynch right there, his daughter. That Woody Allen is mentioning. He said, this is the film that should have been nominated for all the Oscars. This one, not Hannah. This one. But yeah, it's a wonderful little piece of work, and yeah, thank God for Dune, because if it wasn't for Dune, we wouldn't have this film.
Yeah. We didn't need you, Nathan. We didn't need you at all.
Yeah, because we've already got enough perverts in this movie, so we don't need another pervert.
You were gonna whip it out and jerk it during some of these scenes.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Nathan.
So, we are going to be back next week, and that's going to be my pick. And hopefully we do have
shit.
No, I'll give it.
Oh, movie's starting again.
It is?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
This Blu-ray does not have a traditional menu.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking a little bit afterwards, and oh shit, they are starting the movie
I
again.
told you this movie doesn't have a.
They're starting the film again. Okay, we'll stop. Unfortunately, I love watching me some Blue Velvet. We gotta stop that. But we might have a special guest coming over next week.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
If you're good.
Yeah, get a little Irish flavor into this.
That's right. We are going to bring in Lucky the Leprechaun.
Yeah. But the film that I picked, and I know Cameron's looking at me like he's giving me this kind of like sad face because he's thinking it's going to be something else. Let's just say that its soundtrack is royal, and that let's say that George Lucas at one time wanted to make this, but he decided to, you know what? I got Star Wars instead. Exactly. So, we gotta say our goodbyes here.
I'm Cameron.
And I'm David.
And we were the Commentators.
Now let's fuck! I'll fuck anything that moves!
Run, dog! Run! Fly, you fools!